gon' be alright.
KBLA Talk 1580 is amplifying Black voices and spotlighting our untold stories. I'm Dominique DePrima. Join me Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. as we broadcast live from Perry's Joint on Lincoln Avenue in Altadena, covering the individuals and families impacted by the Altadena Eaton fire. Hear from community leaders and those who have suffered losses that must not be forgotten. Together, we can help them rebuild and recover. Together, we are LA Strong, LA United, with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
What's up, Fred? Gangsta. West Coast. Begin with hepatitis. Unauthorized, hard to move, arthritis, infected, selected, neglected, ejected. And next time you hit the west, you can best believe the best. The rest, what you supposed to be snatching? You come into a world of puncture hearts and jacking. Lethal, illegal, overseeing the overview like seagulls. Balls in your jaws on a hunt like bald eagles. The end of the sequel. I'm the Millie Mac that's trying and in the blame. And I'ma start calling y'all niggas by name. Mother O.D., Mother O.M. Only X I know's exhibit a RBX extraordinary.
We're calling out names tonight on KBLA Talk 1580. Welcome in. You are rocking with Jill Munroe, here to give you your entertainment and pop culture update on this Monday. I hope you are well rested from the weekend and ready to get into these pop culture topics. Shout out to Andy, always on theme, calling out names. Is that just corrupt, or is it Daz and Corrupt like the dog pound? It's just corrupt, right?
Just corrupt.
Okay, yeah. Calling out names. He was talking to everybody at that point in time.
Specifically DMX.
Right.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, because he thought X was, at his girl at the time.
Shout out Foxy.
Foxy Brown, Fox Boogie Brown. All right, well, we're going to get into somebody else calling out names tonight. Yvette Nicole Brown. She had some smoke for Kardashian. We're going to get into that. But, of course, before we do, I have to let you know about some other things that are bubbling, going on in the pop culture sphere. Reminder, if you're not already, make sure you're following us on all social media. And if you want to call in tonight, 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. KBLA 1580 is the socials. I'm at Stiletto Jill. Now, I thought this was kind of interesting, kind of crazy, but shout out to LeVar Ball, because all three of his sons are legitimately millionaires. Now, it may not all be through NBA money, but basketball led to his three offsprings achieving in some form or fashion the dream that he set forth. I will never knock LeVar Ball for that, only for what he did with the sneakers. I'm sorry, Big Baller Brand and the sneakers. But we're past it. We're past it.
Gotta respect the hustle and the entrepreneurship.
Absolutely respect that. Put a dent in Lonzo's career, because of lack of wear testing, which was always what I maintained. He moved too quickly with those. But that's a story for another day. Tonight, we are talking about the non-basketball playing of the three brothers, Jello Ball.
Why you got to do him like that?
Because he's not playing ball anymore.
He still has aspirations.
I don't know.
Even though older brother shot him down. I don't know if you saw that clip. Oh, you're not familiar?
Zoe shot him down?
Zoe gave him the real. I guess they were on some podcast. I don't know if it was theirs or
someone else.
It was somebody's podcast, and Jello was kind of talking about his career and aspirations as to like playing in the G League. And Zoe was like, bro, you're better off going overseas, making the bag. I don't know about the G League route anymore. But that's big bro. He showed him, gave him some truth.
Listen, the middle brother, has his reality TV show power couple thing going on. He's with Miss Nikki Baby from Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. They have 2 children together. Well, it was announced today that he signed a deal with Def Jam and Universal Music Group for his Born to Ball music label. And the deal is worth as much as $13 million, with $8 million of that guaranteed, and gives Ball full ownership of his music, in addition to the label. Right now, he has a single that is buzzing, apparently called Tweaker. It's gone viral, garnering millions of views out there. He had a little back and forth with Cameron about bars and things of that nature, because Cameron and Mace have It Is What It Is, and they kind of shut him down and said, you're trying to do what I used to do. You better read my credits. But then here he goes with at least Cam's old label, making it do what it do. Andy.
Yeah, Cameron was definitely not in Jello's realm at the time when he was a baby at the time. So
didn't know his stuff. Had no clue. But, now Jello is balling on his own. So, the track was dropped January 3rd, and he got cosigns from T-Pain, Meek Mill, and a bunch of others. So, shout out to the Ball brothers continuing to ball. Big ballers indeed.
So, what are your thoughts on the song?
When we come forward, we're going to get into calling out names. Yvette Nicole Brown is calling out Khloé Kardashian. We're going to give you all the details on that. You are locked into KBLA Talk 1580.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-550-9651.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-550-9651. That's 800-550-9651.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands with you, neighbor to neighbor, bringing you resources and what you need to know. Sign up for Notify LA on your phone to get fire danger alerts and updates, or check on lafd.org. The Watch Duty app is free and provides wildfire maps and updates in real time. Keep your gas tank full and plan your route in case you have to leave the area. City and county officials are urging you to pack a go bag so you can be ready to leave your home quickly in case of an evacuation order. Your go bag should include a couple of days of clothing, copies of your important documents and ID, money, insurance information, your medications, electronic devices, batteries, chargers, a small radio, and emergency contacts. If you receive an evacuation order, gather your loved ones, grab your bag, your pet food, and leave immediately. For information on shelters for your pets or even your family, call 211 for the City of Los Angeles and 311 county-wide. Wearing a mask outside will help protect you from smoke, toxic fume, and particulate matter. If you don't need to go out, it's best to stay home with the windows closed. Getting to know your neighbors is a great way to stay safe, stay connected, and share resources. And Angelinos are stepping up to help, so reach out and find the assistance you need. Mutual Aid LA Network is constantly updating a Google Sheet with mutual aid resources. You can find it at tiny.cc-malan-fire. The earlier you make a plan, the better off you'll be when every second counts. Praying for LA, preparing, and standing with you. KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back into KBLA Talk 1580 with Jill Munroe here to give you your entertainment news update. First of all, I have to shout out LA. Not only because we could all collectively use a hug right now for LA. That's a given. But there are 3 LA teams balling out tonight, the Clippers and the Lakers. I don't know that the Clippers and Lakers have, maybe they have earlier this season, played on the same night at the same time. It's different because they have their own arena now. And shout out to the Rams because they're about to do it.
Yeah, we up 7. Ain't nobody worried about the Clippers. Shout out to the Lake Show. You already know.
Well, I'm just trying to spread love around the city because that's where we are right now in this time and place.
Shout out to the Chargers too. Y'all did what y'all could do.
Yeah, yeah,
We love
yeah. Shout out to the Chargers. We made it there, and we, meaning the Chargers, because I'm a Rams fan. But this is all circulating with love right now. So, speaking of gently correcting with love, we weren't talking about gently correcting, but we were talking about love. Yvette Nicole Brown and Kim Whitley had smoke when TMZ caught them. Shout out to Blair Moon. That's the TMZ reporter that rolled up on them and talked to them about Khloé Kardashian coming out and having, some smoke for LA City Mayor Karen Bass on her multi-million followed Instagram account, right? So Yvette and Kim wisely pointed out that there's a great deal of misinformation out there, like there is in our chat right now, our YouTube chat, which is always popping and bubbling. We have Prester John in the chat saying, cutting public services, I thought that was the role of Republicans. Why is Karen Bass doing the work of conservatives? That's misinformation, right? First. Second, the water, just, this is just a side. We're not getting into this because we're here for the entertainment portion. But I just want to share that, first of all, if all the reservoirs were filled maximum capacity, right? And a fire of this magnitude hit, right? Like 9,000 fires breaking out at once. And all of the hydrants in the city are connected to these. And they're all being hit at once for water, for all of these intense fires. What do you think's going to happen? Right? So, and they're dropping water fast. The water pressure is going to go down. But, that's one thing. Two, LA is a city within LA County. There are lots of cities within LA County. And within those cities within LA County, they have their own mayors. So, I'm just some of these, there's like Palisades sits on the line. Some of it is in LA City, some of it is in LA County. Listen, I am not, fully defending things. I'm saying that you have to take a closer look. There are a lot of things at play. And, generally speaking, Black women, if they're in the lead, are going to be judged, a little harsher than the average person, right? That's aside. I just wanted to throw that out there. We'll get back to the chat in a second. Andy, you look like you have something to add.
To be fair,
yes,
and I stand to be corrected,
yes,
Governor Newsom is getting a lot of flack as well, too.
He is. He very much is. He's been getting flack. They wanted to recall him. So, I mean, a lot of this, a conversation for another day. There's lots of things, lots of conspiracy theories floating around on all sides. Some of them make sense. Some of them I don't know. Some of them kind of don't know. But
I will say this.
Yes.
California, or specifically LA County, we get wildfires every year.
We do.
And it is interesting because I ain't gonna lie, I have my conspiracy theory hat as well. But, when it comes to natural disasters, it happens. And every time we try to conspiracy theorize natural disasters, and sometimes nature just happens.
And really, here's the thing. If you were in LA Monday and Tuesday night, those winds were crazy. Whether it was natural, arson, the, electric company, the winds, once it got started, ridiculous. I found in my backyard this weekend someone's cookbook. It was like not the entire cookbook, but pages from the cookbook, and it was burnt. I don't know how it reached my backyard, but it did. So at any rate, let's get back on point. So Karen Bass obviously has been receiving a lot of heat. Khloé put her 2 cents in, and Yvette Nicole Brown and Kim Whitley fired back. Then Yvette took to Instagram to follow up with her follow-up because she wanted to, since we're calling out names, put Khloé on Front Street about how she could have done her part as well to make sure that the reserves weren't dry. She posted, Kardashians among LA's worst water wasters, using 333,000 gallons over the county limit just in June. This was from 2022, right? And it's just the tip of the iceberg. They weren't the only people named in this. There were a bunch of other people, but we were in a drought, mandatory orders about how and when we could water our lawns, etc., right? So Yvette posted and said, this is from 2022, when Los Angeles was in the midst of a drought. Every citizen was asked to conserve for the good of everyone else. You know, because of fires, this is how some citizens responded to the ask. Is this a joke, Khloé Kardashian? So, bam. Hit right back. Now, on one hand, we know it is not our individual responsibility as citizens to make sure that public works are working and for our benefit. However, it is our responsibility, just like with curfews or, rationing as far as public works, to do that. And the Kardashians didn't do that and didn't feel much about it, right? So is it fair? Does Khloé have a responsibility in stating her opinion to also provide facts, since she has millions and millions and millions of followers? Or are people being too sensitive because it is a Black woman, and we know how hard out here it can be for Black women in leadership roles? Are they being fair, or are they just kind of, coming to the defense because it's a sensitive area? Well, like I mentioned, the chat is already lighting it up. Prester John says, so did Bass also increase funding for law enforcement too, or is this a myth? Wrong show, baby. Wrong show. No, we can talk about it, but listen, what I am saying is the facts are out there. You can go and get into it. But right now, tonight, what we're talking about is this aspect of it, and is it okay when you have a following that large to sort of be responsible with the words and information that you put out? And is it fair that Yvette clapped back with some actual facts about what Khloé and her family could have done to help make sure that we were in better position in the event something like this happens, which, as Andy mentioned, we have a fire season every year. Used to be an old joke. Fires, floods, earthquakes, and what was the other one? Riots. It was riots.
Mudslides.
Yeah. Okay.
For those who live in the mountains.
Yeah. In the foothills and stuff. Very true. So, Andy, you look like you were going to add something.
I mean, like, why are we holding any opinion that Khloé Kardashian has, as just valid, or why do we carry so much weight to it?
I don't know if it's so much that we carry weight to what she has to say. It is the logic, the rationale that her platform is so very, very large that if she's putting out misinformation, right, unchecked, then this is how these type of rumors and stuff gets perpetuated and floated down the line.
Here's the issue that I have. It seems like it's been going on for maybe past 2 years or so, is this whole thing about misinformation. There was a time growing up in school, once again, I always use this. They taught us about Christopher Columbus. Mm-hmm. So I'm supposed to open up a book, and that book is valid enough where it's true. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I could watch or listen to the news, and it's going to be misinformation spread.
I mean, it is true.
So how can I truly vet something?
That is true. But I guess, once again, it's two parts. It is the platform that Khloé holds, and in defense of not just Karen Bass, but, the fire chief, they have all been under attack. Many feel more so than if it were white men who have typically been in charge. I'm just saying what the people in the internet and social media are saying. I'm not saying that I, feel this way about every single part of it. But I do think that when it is a Black woman, sometimes there is a particular venom that comes out. And I'm not saying that doesn't mean that there might not be points within that. But I think sometimes, they say people know who to play with, right? I think people try and play sometimes in black women's faces because they know if you pop back and give them that interaction and they get it off, then they win either way. If you don't say anything, they get to make their point. If you do say anything, then you are an angry black woman. So, it's kind of a lose-lose.
Yeah, I think that's par for course for being a politician.
True. I do believe that.
I do understand, her being a black woman or whatnot. But I think it could have been a white dude right there. Like I said, Governor Newsom is getting flack too.
I agree. I agree. I'm not saying that it wouldn't happen. These are what the people are saying and kind of, Yvette's position. Meanwhile, they're also pointing out on the other side of the spectrum, right? Khloé's sister, who considers herself a little social justice warrior. I shouldn't say that. But no, Kim is out there making demands for higher wages for the incarcerated firefighters that have been assisting with the California wildfires. Now, there were reports that some workers were being paid as little as $1 an hour and that the pay has been the same since 1984. Kim put up a post on Instagram and says that many have died. It's never been raised. There was a year where the agreement to raise the incarcerated firefighter pay to $5 an hour, but it got shot down at the last minute. And she says she's urging Governor Newsom, combining the names, to do what no governor has done in 4 decades and raise the incarcerated firefighter pay to a rate that honors a human being risking their lives to save our lives and homes. And obviously, we know what spurned this. She went on to say, I've spent the last week watching my city burning and have seen and spoken to many firefighters who are up all night using every ounce of their strength to save our community. Thank you to Cal Fire LA, LA County Fire, and Los Angeles City Fire for everything you are doing to save lives, homes, and property. On all 5 fires in Los Angeles, there are hundreds of incarcerated firefighters risking their lives to save us. They are on the Palisades Fire and Eaton Fire in Pasadena working 24-hour shifts. They get paid almost nothing, risk their lives. Some have died to prove to the community that they have changed and now are first responders. I see them as heroes. Lastly, I want to thank, she goes on. So here's a little fact-checking per a former incarcerated California firefighter prison inmate. One, they do get a rate of about $4 or $5 an hour. What happens is the stipend is what he believes she's speaking of, that they get on top of that while they are on these 24-hour jobs. There's other things that he went into as to how they are selected. They're volunteer to be in this program. They have to have no more than 8 years on their record, on their time left, and a couple of other things. Obviously, no arson-related crimes, not violent crimes, things of that nature. So she is not wrong, but she's not quite right. But definitely on opposite ends of the spectrum, while Kim is focusing on solutions, perhaps, or, how to be preventative in this, Khloé's just complaining. But that's everyone's right. Let's get to some more in the chat. Pretty Brown Mimi says, the water usage illustration had me screaming. Yvette is going in on Khloé Kardashian. I've learned that LA County has 87 counties. Thanks, Yvette Nicole Brown. Keep teaching and reading. I love it. And she also said, since Karen Bass is the mayor of Los Angeles and not Calabasas, perhaps Khloé should have kept her opinion to herself and not bash black women. And there's been a lot of, conversation of that. But as Andy pointed out, being a public official means that you are open for scrutiny and for conversation. And sometimes it is not always going to be in our favor. So, you guys already are doing that. But let me know your thoughts on this. Was Yvette in the wrong? Or was she just stating her feelings, much like Khloé was stating hers? And does it matter that Khloé in the past was a water waster? contributing to the dry conditions that are Southern California? I want to know all of that from you. Listen, when we come forward, we are going to get into what O'Shea Jackson Jr. has to say Hollywood has done to his dad. We're also going to get into, OnlyFans is making a lot of people a lot of money. And there's a former WNBA player who talks about what she is bringing in from the platform. And lastly, coming up, we're going to get into some comments Amanda Seales had to say. And she says that the women that have come at her the hardest and the most is Black women. So we're going to get into all of those things and more on the other side. You were locked into KBLA Talk 1580 with Jill Munroe and your entertainment report. Coming up, news, traffic, and sports.
Wouldn't need a vest around their chest. Now if it wasn't for the West, these rap niggas wouldn't need a vest around their chest.
I don't give a fuck. Catch me in the hood, all blue chucks, gang bang the fuck out, cuz. Only thing I like that ride rough is E. And all the rest of y'all niggas who ride rough get D. I'ma tell you one more time and I won't say it again. Corrupt said it, motherfucker, from beginning to end. Salamander, caterpillar, motherfucker.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Black Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is asking residents to report price gouging after the recent wildfires. State law bans unfair price hikes on essentials during emergencies, which Governor Newsom declared last Tuesday. A poll shows former Governor Andrew Cuomo leading a hypothetical New York City mayoral race with 32% support ahead of Scott Stringer at 10% and Black Mayor Eric Adams at 6%. Adams dismissed the results, recalling Andrew Yang's past lead before losing to him. A once controversial Brooklyn migrant shelter built during New York City's 2023 migrant crisis now stands empty. Black Mayor Eric Adams toured the site as workers dismantled it, announcing more shelter closures citywide due to declining arrivals. And Haitians in Florida are marking 15 years since a deadly earthquake killed over 300,000 people. In Little Haiti, they held a moment of silence and marched to the Cultural Center. I'm Amber Payton on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
West LA delays on the 405 northbound loading up at Santa Monica Boulevard. It's pretty tough ahead all the way to Victory Boulevard. Better after that as you continue into Van Nuys. And then you've got to slow down ahead off of the 118 to the 5 merge into Sylmar. Let's look at the 14 in Santa Clarita, northbound slowing from the 5. And that drive looks much better once you make your way past Soledad Canyon Road. It's also a tough drive right now along the 10 freeway out of City Terrace from City Terrace Drive. Delays in stretches all the way into West Covina. And Pasadena, 210 eastbound loads up at Sierra Madre. Delays ahead to Azusa.
Now's the time to shop limited time doorbuster deals during Lowe's Pro Savings Days. Save $50 on a Little Giant King Combo 6-foot ladder. Was $199, now $149. Doorbusters valid 113 to 115. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers and Clippers have home games tonight after a pause in their schedule because of the wildfires in LA County. The Lakers had 2 games postponed. The Clippers had 1. The Lakers are at home against San Antonio at Crypto.com. The Clippers are at home against Miami at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. We'll let you know tomorrow morning which LA team had the highest attendance. No change in the NCAA women's basketball rankings. For the 8th straight week, undefeated UCLA remains number 1 in the country. UCLA is 16-0. USC is number 4. The Trojans are 16-1. Reports out of Pittsburgh indicate that Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin, the dean of NFL head coaches, will return for a 19th season in 2025. Tomlin, one of 4 black head coaches in the NFL, has never had a losing season with the Steelers. The Steelers were eliminated by Baltimore Saturday in the first round of the AFC playoffs. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
To our beloved greater Los Angeles community affected by the devastating wildfires, we stand with you. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, our hearts go out to those who've lost loved ones, homes, businesses, belongings, and precious memories. In these challenging times, we're here to keep you informed and connected. For the latest updates, resources, and ways to help your neighbors in need, stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580. Together, we'll rebuild. Together, we'll recover. Together, we are Los Angeles strong. KBLA Talk 1580. Your voice, your community, your station. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Money, diamonds, house in different cities. I'm living my wildest dreams. Cooking, smile, I'm in with all the power. Can do what I want, but I'm empty. Baddies got a model movie options to making a movie scene. I know all the game, but what's it really mean? Lord knows I tried to give up, tried what I thought could be love, tried taking chances and chance brought me down to my knees. Girl, I've been so dumb, don't wanna be a fool out of love all alone. Girl, I've been
Welcome back in. You are locked into KBLA Talk 1580 with Jill Munroe here with your entertainment update. Thank you guys for locking in. Andy setting the vibes, getting us in the mood for love, connection, heartfelt moments. Who is that, Andy? Because I know the song, but I don't know who it is. No clue.
I'm feeling real lucky, and it's a beautiful day.
Lucky day?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I knew I heard the song, but no clue who the artist was.
Fire record.
Yeah. I like that. Okay. Put me on, Andy. I always appreciate it. Like I mentioned, the chat is always bustling. DJ Black 909, he said, LA is still Raiders turf. Send the Chargers back to San Diego. Is it? Is it really? I mean, I know it is, but the Rams won a Super Bowl just a couple years ago. They've been here putting it down back in the playoffs. Don't be just. I know the Raiders are still very, very important in the hearts and minds of Southern California. I was here when they were here the first time. I remember. I know. I'm just saying, at this point, they're gone. They're in Vegas. You know, they've bounced around too. Love the one you're with. Or something.
Unfortunately, you know, it was 30 plus years without a squad.
Man.
I mean, damn, we can't even go to SoFi Stadium against the Niners without it looking like a Niners game.
That is facts.
Or a Bills game.
It
or
is
an Eagles game.
All red, all green, anything but the blue and gold of both of our football teams.
I think it's going to take some time.
Not a Super Bowl? If a Super Bowl didn't do it, it's probably not going to happen.
I remember that parade with the Rams, and I was a little bit disappointed because I felt like the city really didn't come out.
They didn't show up.
But I understand. I mean, once again, for 30 years without a squad, people are going to find other teams and whatnot. So that's why give it another, I'm going to say 20 years. Yeah. I mean, a generation
20?
is going to have to grow up with this squad in L.A. in order for, you know what I'm saying, the impact to be even better.
But they've been putting it down. Been to the Super Bowl a couple times. Won.
They
Had one
have.
of the most memorable halftime shows. Look, back at it again.
Hey, people talk about that halftime show more than the Rams' victory that Super Bowl.
I really do. But, you know, that's what it is. DJ Black 909 also said, this is what I keep saying. You can't compete with planned kids. LeVar Ball has made all his sons millionaires before they even got to the age of 30. Yep, shout out to LeVar. He did that. Forrest Harrison says, I miss the days when a celebrity was mysterious and quiet. So when they did pop out and comment, it meant something. Social media has every D-list celebrity thinking their opinion matters. STFU sometimes.
Well, I also got to blame the receiver.
Yeah.
The consumer.
Yeah, the consumer heavily.
We give it
heavy
power.
on that.
We give it power and platforms talk about it. So two-way street.
Yeah, and here I am talking about it. Shout out to Prester John for offering up. I appreciate you jumping in the chat and putting your comments out there. And yeah, so, you know, tap into the YouTube chat. It's always bustling over there. Now, O'Shea Jackson said that he feels like his father has been shortchanged by Hollywood. DJ Black 909 did correct it. It's 20 years without an NFL team. You are correct. You know, somewhere in there. Decades. We lost them in the 90s. They came back in the 2010s. And I was sad. But not really, because we still had the Lakers, and at heart, I'm a basketball girl. That's aside. But the Rams were my team, even when everybody else was my dad had season tickets, and he would take me, and spoiler alert, I was very, very young, but I was at the Super Bowl that they won here at the sports arena back in the day with my dad. I was very young. So anyway, so that's why I've been a Rams fan, you know, the whole time. So OG, Rams, Dodgers, Lakers. That's what it is. All right. So O'Shea says that Hollywood typecasts rappers, especially his dad, and that the reason why you see his dad playing similar roles is because Hollywood won't let him outside of that box. Now, does Hollywood typecast people? Absolutely. Do I think Cube could be a victim of that? Yes and no. The no comes from Cube very early on. You got to think Friday dropped in 95, right? And Cube Vision as a production company has been in existence for a very, very long time. I have always made the assumption that Cube takes similar roles, you know, because one, I feel like Ice Cube is Ice Cube no matter the character he's playing. I don't know if, I'm not saying he doesn't have range to do more. I'm saying that is the performance that he provides, right? But I think that that is what people are looking for. People want to see Cube raise the eyebrow up and snarl at the camera. They go crazy for that in the theaters. You know, if you could get back in the day a yay yay or something like that in one of the things, or a Cube line, people went off for that. Sometimes people, the audience, when I'm saying people, find comfort in what they know and like. And they, too, don't really want to see you outside of that. I take it back to Will Smith back in the early 90s after The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he did that film 6 Degrees of Separation with like Stockard Channing and some of these other individuals, and he played a gay grifter. And there was a lot of controversy about that. And in the film, I think he did a kiss or they took the kiss out, but it was a big thing. The director was upset because he said, if you're going to be an actor, you have to commit to the role. Things, you know. So I think that it is a double-edged sword. While I think that it can be true, and people a lot of times, especially when you're talking about a rapper, someone who has established their personality as whatever that is, a lot of times you're bringing that to whatever role you take on in Hollywood. So I think, of course, there might be some type, and then, you know, this is aside, but can the actor handle the role? You know, some actors can only, and in this case, by actor, I'm talking rapper, be themselves. So, you know, that's what it is. When we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines, more comments from the chat, and, of course, all of the good things here at KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ride with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attention Los Angeles County renters and landlords. Starting January 1st, 2025, there are new rules limiting rent increases for rent-stabilized units in unincorporated LA County. Most rent-stabilized units will have rent increases capped at 2.565% from January through June 2025, with exceptions for qualified small property landlords and luxury units. To learn more about the new changes, visit rent.lacounty.gov. This message is brought to you by Los Angeles County Department of Consumer and Business Affairs.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands with you in tough times, connecting you with resources and what you need to know. Evacuation shelters are located in the Pasadena Civic Center, the Dream Center in LA, the Westwood Recreation Center, and many more. You can call 311 for details. If you're in Los Angeles County and in need of food, call Omni Ministries at 310-631-1557. Donations can be made to Zelle, Omni Ministries, Inc. at yahoo.com. Parking Lot I outside of Rose Bowl Stadium is a pop-up mutual aid hub where you can pick up everything from clothing to food to hygiene supplies for free. To volunteer or donate to help victims of the fire, contact the LA Emergency Network at enla.org. The Cochran Firm and Ivy McNeil, Wyatt Purcell and Diggs, Jasmine Canick, and others have launched a GoFundMe specifically targeting Altadena. Visit LA Fires, the impacted Black community urgently needs help on GoFundMe, and donate to help Black evacuees fighting for survival. Airbnb is offering free temporary housing to people displaced by the fires. Call 211 to sign up. The LA Chamber of Commerce is reach them at 213-580-7500. South LA Cafe has free groceries, clothing, and water available at 1700 Browning Boulevard in LA. Track their giveaways or volunteer through their Instagram at South LA Cafe. U-Haul is donating short-term storage free of charge for 30 days to evacuees. Shelter for small or large animals can be accessed by calling 211. A Black-led coalition of community organizations is offering support and resources in the Altadena area at the Flint Ridge Center at 236 West Mountain Street in Pasadena. For comprehensive lists of resources for housing, food, shelter, and more, visit Mutual Aid LA Network on Instagram. Praying for LA and standing with you. KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked in with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. I just learned a new term. You guys are going to learn about it in the next hour. You know, coming up with Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. He taught me, what is it, a linguistic terrorist? Okay, so that's coming up in the next hour. You guys better, lock in for that. I just learned the term. And when I can pronounce it more clearly, because I am tongue-tied tonight, I probably will be utilizing that and peppering it like parsley in conversation. So thank you to Zoe Williams, because he's going to put you up on some things tonight. But back to these trending topics, right? We were talking a minute ago about O'Shea Jackson Jr., and him feeling that his father is typecast in roles. And I want to say this, too. There are some actors that I feel that are rappers that don't get typecast. Mos Def. He doesn't. He's had he was even nominated, I believe, for an Academy Award or something, right? I believe he was. T.I., surprisingly, has had, a little variety of roles. Now, it is your opinion whether you think he serviceably did those roles, but surprisingly, he has not been typecast. So I think it just depends. I think, to me, it looked like Cube saw a business model. He saw, not in the same way, but much in the way that Tyler Perry knows his audience and knows what they're going to like. So that's why he doesn't move off his square with that. I feel that Cube, in some regards, is very similar. We don't talk about it. It is not in the same sort of stamp that we have become familiar with Tyler, perhaps. But I think that there is some simpatico, to say the least, about knowing your audience and the type of productions that they put out. Andy?
I guess my question is, what type of roles does his son want, to see his father in?
I mean, I don't know if it's something maybe, his dad was in discussion for and got passed over. I think, what he said was, my dad doesn't walk around angry all day. And the thing is this, though, even in those roles, in most of them, you think about it, a lot of times Cube plays the straight man, but he's funny in those things, too. So I don't even think that. I think that we are in the early 90s, check, you got that. Maybe even the early 2000s, I feel you. But your dad has been producing films, successful projects, for quite some time. And if he wanted to, I suppose you could say, are we there yet? He had a kind of different role. He wasn't menacing or anything like that, There's been a couple of things, but he played the old what do you call the people that don't really come outside? They're shut-ins. Hermit. The hermit in the lottery ticket with Bow Wow. And So I think he's done little stuff, but he fully has control on that. If Cube wanted to do a project where, let's say, I don't know, he played Dizzy Gillespie in his life story or something like that, he could do it. Now, I know that he's talked about the issues that he has had with whoever New Line Cinema's parent company is for Friday, and excuse me, they went through varied things, but he could be the change he wishes to see. I feel like it's a business decision. I'm not mad at him for it, but that's what it looks like to me, The chat's still bubbling on. Prester John says the Dream Center accepted evacuees from Hurricane Katrina and treated them horribly. I went to donate supplies and had to use my own cell phone to let New Orleans evacuees know their loved ones across the country were back in NOLA. Well, I hope that that is not happening here in the centers around here. One thing I can say, the city of Los Angeles and its citizens are showing up for each other. I've seen so many people talk about going to volunteer at places, and they couldn't because there were so many volunteers there that were already there. Donations have been turned back. One thing that I think it's important to keep in mind is, yes, we're only a week in now, but people are still going to need things 2 months from now, 5 months from now. This is not something that is going to go away quickly. So if you can't volunteer or step up this week, have no fear. There is going to be something that you can contribute, because there are a lot of people that lost absolutely everything. On that, Keisha Cole lost her home in the fire. It was recently announced. The Weeknd has announced that he is canceling his show that was scheduled to be at the Rose Bowl and is putting the release of his album on hold in order to be sensitive to what is currently happening here in Los Angeles. The Grammy Awards will still take place on February 2nd as planned, but the show will instead focus on raising funds for wildfire relief efforts and honoring first responders. And they also will launch the Recording Academy and Music Care's fire relief effort with a $1 million donation. In addition to that, Universal Music Group have canceled all their Grammy-related events, including an artist showcase and an after party, and they're redirecting those resources to be used at events to assist those affected by the wildfires. So, the city and county of Los Angeles is really stepping up to support. Forrest Harrison says, in First Sunday, Cube almost cried when his baby mama was going to move away. Yep, he was kind of a square in First Sunday. So I feel like but even in that, he still was Cube, right? So he knows his audience, I feel, and what they will accept seeing him in. Prester John says, mutual aid is a beautiful thing, but the government has the capacity to provide support and is obligated to do so. I agree. And who said that they aren't? I mean, who said that they aren't? As far as I know, they are providing support. I mean, if you want to talk about the aid, I mean, that stuff is going to take some time to work out. The amount of residents that have lost their home, belongings, maybe just smoke damage. The numbers are in the, tens of thousands. So it's going to take time to walk through those things. So in the meantime, support from your community is important and maybe necessary. There are people out there that may not have family, or friends that are nearby. So every little bit helps and contributes. It is not the expectation that they will hold up every individual, but there is a gap, and these people are standing in the gap, and I think that is important. Andy?
For those who did lose their homes, do whatever you can to keep it.
Facts.
Don't sell it.
Facts.
Because the vultures have arrived, and I know that they're trying to purchase everything up. We got the Olympics popping up in a couple years, smart cities and all that. It's another conversation for another time. But as of right now, do what you can to hold on to your land. Don't sell it right now.
This is facts. I know it is hard. I know that it is probably something that you are not even currently thinking about, but stay down. You know what I mean? They always say it may not be grandmama's house, but don't sell grandma's house.
Altadena?
Please.
Don't sell.
Hold on to it. So, lots of things bubbling, the entertainment community, the community at large, stepping up, showing up, continuing to show support in these times, showing what Southern California is all about, the resilience of LA. One thing is for sure. LA comes together when need be. Whatever the thing is, for the most part, there are things, but we show out and support. DJ Black 909. Don't call me auntie. We're not going to have this debate. I know you do it out of love, and I'm giving you a hard time out of love. But always remember, I am allowing you to come out with that. I don't really care for that. Not for any particular reason. I'm not fond of it. Prester John says the real looters will be BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street as they capitalize on the massive vulnerable population. These are brass tack, probably facts, Just if you can, stay down, hold on, and, get into it. All right, I didn't get into the Amanda Seales conversation. We will hold that for tomorrow because, every day, not every day, Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. I'm here with your pop culture and entertainment news update. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow with more. So if you're interested in that topic, make sure you lock in. You know what's coming up on the other side. I already gave you a preview. Make sure that you are here for the full thing. Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, is coming up. News, traffic, and sports when we get done. Thank you for liking in. Enjoy your Monday.
For all this fame and fortune, can't afford me what I need.